National Conference in San Francisco. This is Mindset, mental health news and information. I'm your host, James Curtis. My guest today is Rachel Eglin and Janice Woods. They're both story producers for something that is phenomenal. I am a fan. The Mindset Show is a fan. It's called the Mental Health Channel, online at mentalhealthchannel.tv. Rachel and Janice are producers. We're going to be talking to them today. And the noise you hear in the background is indeed the chatter of all of the activity in the Mental Health Channel Lounge. It's been up and running throughout the convention. There are people still here milling about, getting ready to go into the last event of the conference today, which is going to be the big gala ball this afternoon. But so Rachel and Janice will have to get up and go back and forth, so I'm just kind of pinching their time away as I can. Rachel, thank you so much for hanging out and sitting down with me for a minute.
Thank you, James. I'm really excited to be here to talk about the channel.
You are a story producer. First of all, before we get in and talk about the background of the Mental Health Channel and what it does and how wonderful it is, because it is wonderful. You all do a wonderful job there. I want you to tell folks a little bit about you, about your background, how you even came to be a story producer, and really, what is a story producer for those folks who aren't familiar with television and media and that kind of thing?
Sure. Well, I first got interested in documentary film as a very dorky teenager watching PBS documentaries. And I just remember, I would watch TV with my family, read the news growing up, and the best perspectives that I ever got were through these long-form documentaries on PBS. And I really believe in this medium's potential to change the conversation and change perspectives and really make positive social change possible. And so that was kind of my first entry point of just, being a fan of documentary film in general. When I went to college, I decided to study American Studies at the University of Texas. And I got interested in, social movements, rights movements throughout history in this country and globally as well. And I also interned at the Austin PBS station, KLRU, and just really just jumped right in. And that was also my kind of first time speaking about mental health outside of my family, my first time speaking about it in a more public way. My mentor at KLRU was a wonderful woman who really took me under her wing. We worked on a show called Docubloggers, which ended up winning some Emmys, and I was just, spry young 18-year-old, just super thrilled to be there. She actually herself had bipolar disorder, and really kind of saw that unfold through the years, saw her struggles, saw her triumphs, and, really started to get interested in this topic. But in terms of, what I do at the Mental Health Channel, Janice and I, as story producers, we try to tackle the topic of mental health as well as we can. There are so many different facets, so many different elements that are important. The channel actually started out and its inception as a feature-length documentary, but we since realized that there is far, far too much to talk about for that to work. So we've developed this kind of channel model as a way to talk about veterans and reintegration issues, to talk about cutting-edge research, to talk about children's mental health, and just anything and everything. So what we do is we find a topic and we just research the heck out of it. We learn as much as we can, and we also learn what do most people think about this. We try to approach it from a misconceptions standpoint, first and foremost. What needs to be cleared up? What do people really need to know? What information is lacking out there in the mainstream media? And we take our jobs very seriously. There's not most media outlets, aside from this wonderful podcast here, if I may say so myself, James, most media outlets do a pretty poor job of discussing mental health. It's that person on the street corner. It's them. It's that school shooter. It's all of us, though. It's 1 in 4, and, we really want to change the conversation, and that's MHC's tagline. So we find the characters, we find the topics, and we bring them to life as episodes.
And you do a wonderful, wonderful job, and you can hear folks in the background gathering up as the Mental Health Channel lounge is filling up. People are coming by because we're in that transition time. So I know you may have to jump away. Let me know if you do. And we got to get Janice over here if we can pull her away for a second. But talk to folks about the idea of the Mental Health Channel from the standpoint of the format. It's a documentary, but they're short, but they're so power packed. They're so compelling. They hit hard and they're extremely well done. How do you get all of that into such a small package?
Well, that's a great question, James, and I'm not sure I have an easy answer for you. It's a huge undertaking, to be honest, and we have a fantastic team at Arcos Films, which is the production company behind Mental Health Channel. So it's short form documentary content. And once we realized we wanted to bring this to the web, we wanted Mental Health Channel to be available 24/7. If it's the middle of the night and you just found out that someone you love has died by suicide, we don't want you to only have dry academic type of information available at your fingertips. We want you to see a face you identify with. We want that to be available 24/7, essentially. But because of the attention spans online, we had to make them short. So we really do pack a punch in about 5 to 7 minutes. So most episodes are one-offs. We do have what we call runners, our Cracking Up series, which talks about mental health from a comedic standpoint, laughter being the best medicine. Takes place over the course of 8 short episodes. But for the most part, you can just poke around the website, depending on what piques your interest, click on something, spend 5 minutes, and just watch whatever.
And one thing I want to clear up for folks, people will go to the website. Again, the website is mentalhealthchannel.tv. And if you're just joining Mindset, first of all, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We're broadcasting live. This is actually the Mindset's first roadshow live broadcast from the scene, from where everything is happening, which happens to be, in this case, the NAMI National Convention for 2015 here in San Francisco. We're coming to you from the Mason Room, the mentalhealthchannel.tv lounge. My guests are the story producers for mentalhealthchannel.tv, Rachel Eklund and Janice Woods. We're still going to try to wrangle Janice at some point, but people keep coming in here, and you guys are really, really busy. And if you're listening to this podcast, come on by and get a T-shirt, and there may be still some left. I want to talk about overall the format. I want to point out something about one of the videos that explain the Mental Health Channel online. On the video online where the founders, Jeff Fraley and Harry Lynch, appear, along with you, and you are fabulous. Even though, well, we're not even going to go into a little secret. You told me about that performance, but you did a great job on that piece that explains the Mental Health Channel. It says there are, 151 episodes total live, but on that, at that time, when you guys produced that, there were 22 available. Now there are 51 episodes available. So it's continually growing. You're continuing to add to it. I want to ask you about a couple things. One, if you have a favorite, I'm sure you probably have a couple, but if you could pick one for us, that would be really wonderful, and talk to us about it. I know one of my favorites is the inside story about schizophrenia, one that you worked on. And then there are several continuing, or at least multiple series. Dr. Brain, Family Portrait, The Journey Home, about veterans, Cracking Up, which is the comedy piece of it, The Developing Brain, which is more the scientific Brain Science 101 part of it. Talk to us a little bit about those ongoing efforts, and then give us some tidbits about your favorite and why.
Yeah, so there are 12 different series on the channel, and, we have them grouped based on topic. And so Dr. Brain, like you mentioned, covers cutting-edge science. And so we're really trying to find what are the most exciting things out there, from the, biomarkers of schizophrenia to, fast-acting antidepressant development, and just all sorts of exciting science. And you can, really just based on your interest, find stuff out that way. Asking me my favorite episode is, like asking me to pick my favorite child or something.
I know that was difficult. But go ahead and pick your favorite, but talk to us about, because I want people to know about all of this stuff, obviously, but I want them to know about the inside story about schizophrenia, because it is, they're all great, but that one is special, and it's kind of special to you.
This one is special to me, and yeah, if I had to pick a favorite, it might just be the Inside Story Schizophrenia. The Inside Story series takes a very interesting approach, I think, and it's one we've gotten a ton of positive feedback on. So, one difficult thing with, in talking about mental health is being able to really understand where someone's coming from. One thing you often hear of, oh, I'm experiencing depression, I've been depressed lately. Why don't you just get out of bed? Why don't you just snap out of it? I've been depressed before. I just, went for a jog and felt better. So it's, these things, unless you've experienced them yourselves, even if you're trying to, empathize and keep an open mind, it's just really difficult to understand what's going on with somebody unless you have been there yourself. And so, we realize that, but as best as possible with the Inside Story, we're trying to tell the story of each major mental health diagnosis from a first-person perspective. And we use, some innovative storytelling techniques to get that across. So, with the schizophrenia piece, for example, our main character is Brandon Staglin, who is just a wonderful, wonderful gentleman.
Remarkable.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So he's just down the road here from us in San Francisco in Napa, California. His family owns the Staglin family vineyard out there in Napa. He was a, just brilliant young man, excelling in, I think, 8 different degrees: computer science, math, engineering, all sorts of stuff. And when he first had, his first onset of schizophrenia, his first psychotic experience, he got treatment right away, and has since just moved on to lead a wonderful, fulfilling, successful life he's really a beacon of hope. And I think, his sister even says in those exact terms in the video, and he is to so many people, just showing that, with treatment, with sticking with a treatment plan, a rich, fulfilling life, just like anyone can lead, is possible, even with a severe mental illness like schizophrenia.
Now, one of the things that I have to point out is that, okay, I'm an old fart. I'm an old guy. You young ladies, both you and Janice, are 20, 30-somethings. You have an incredible technical ability to put these stories together, but more importantly, because there are a lot of people with skills, there are a lot of people working in the media, the empathy, the ability to have care, to bring these stories forth. Where does that come from? You're so young. I mean, okay, I have clothes, and I think we actually talked about this, that are older than you, Miss 20-something, and I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but not completely. Give us some insight into that.
Well, I don't really know exactly how to respond to that. It's just, I think part of it is the great work that the generations that have come before mine have done, to really just start breaking the stigma on this, to make it okay to talk about, breaking the silence. And to me, it's nothing, I just can't look at somebody and see their mental illness. That's not the first thing. There's so many facets to everybody, and that is just not the most important one. It's really not. And so it's really easy to, just identify with someone on many other levels, and this is just part of their personality.
Let's talk a little bit about, and just segue, as we have people coming in and out of the Mental Health Lounge. Again, if you're just joining Mindset, you're listening to Mindset Mental Health News and Information. I'm your host, James Curtis, coming to you live from the NAMI National Convention in San Francisco, California. This is the last day, Thursday. We're in the Mental Health Lounge in the Mason Room off of Tower Number 3 in the Hilton Hotel on O'Farrell Street. And there are a lot of people in here. They've been coming, they've been going. I've seen them. I've actually pushed some of them here myself because I am a fan of the Mental Health Channel. You obviously have great leadership under Jeff Fraley and Harry Lynch, the two founders of the network. And I'm going to actually talk to Jeff in a few weeks and interview him here on Mindset. Talk to us about what you've seen in terms of the reaction to the channel. It's not as well known as certainly it will be. It seems like people are embracing it. People are coming in. They want to talk. They want to tell you their stories. You're getting a lot of foot traffic. It seems to be going well.
Yeah, we are just, just really, really, really pleased with how everything's going so far. And the Mental Health Channel is really in its infancy. We launched just this past May, a couple months ago, for Mental Health Month. We've been filming and producing content for about 18 months. We've been, talking about this project. At first,